Welcome to Failed Forward, a podcast for professionals who are wondering, how the hell did I get here?
Join your host, Rachel Durkan, and me, Donna Miller, as we discuss the messy, bumpy, and often unattractive journey to success.
After all, if it isn't hard to do, is it really worth doing? Hello, everyone, and welcome to Failed Forward, the podcast for those of us wondering, how the hell did I get here? My name is Rachel Durkan. I'm with Paradigm Marketing and Design. We are a web marketing, branding, and sales enablement agency that specializes in working with clients with a complex sale. So if you have a sales team whom you want to have more qualified meetings and close more deals more quickly, we can build a marketing to sales infrastructure that will make that happen. And I am joined by my lovely co-host, Donna Miller.
Well, thank you, Rachel. So yes, I am Donna Miller, Chief Visionary Officer and founder at C3 Workplace and Donna Miller Business Growth Consulting, where for the last 30 years, we've been helping companies and business owners to accelerate their growth by providing support and advisory services around operations, biz dev, and finance. We allow growing teams and business owners to work smarter by focusing on the stuff that actually drives the business forward. And our clients know that by bringing us in, we're going to build efficient, connected, executable systems they can execute or we can help execute. But in essence, we're helping them lay the foundation to build a company that will run and grow without them involved in every little detail, whether that's a profitable lifestyle business or a fully scaled company. That's what I love to do. And we are joined in this episode of Failed Forward, How the Hell Did I Get Here? By the fabulous Casey Carpenter. So Casey, tell us a little bit about your fabulous self.
Oh my, well, you know what I say when I introduce myself, when I give a keynote, I say, it is a miracle that I am here today before you, because I was born with 4 strikes against me: shyness, highly sensitive, introverted, and I was terrified to speak up. And what I had to do was work very hard to overcome these strikes so that I could find my own voice and learn to use it and learn to speak up. And then what I do today, as you both know, I'm the CEO and founder of Speak and Own It Communications, where I indeed inspire business leaders every single day to exercise their voices at the intersection of speaking, presence, leadership, and vitamin E, empathy.
So Casey, in that journey, I imagine, being shy in childhood is hard, and childhood is always hard. And what was your moment that you decided you were going to make a change? Was it an evolution or was it a moment?
It was a moment. I had been working for a wonderful nonprofit agency, great mission, but I was making $11,200. So I'm dating myself a little bit, right? 11.2. And whereas I felt really good about the work, I had a cute Harlem apartment. I could barely pay the rent. I would pay the rent and have $11 left over. That math is not mathing. I got a second job and I worked for 5 years, 2 jobs. My second job was selling cable TV over the phone to Manhattan residents. I got good at it. I was horrible in the beginning. No one ever hung up on me. And I ran into a former colleague and she said to me, and here's the moment, I'm getting to it, Rachel. She said, Casey, get into sales. And she said, sales. Sales. And I looked at her. This woman had made a transformation from someone who had worn jumpers and sneakers to a business suit, carrying a briefcase and wearing patent leather pumps. And I said, I want what she's got. And the way she got there was she got into sales. So it was that moment that really, I think, changed my entire life. I don't know where she is today. I want to find her and thank her.
So wait, okay.
Not said that, I don't know what I would have figured out eventually. I have no idea, but that was a major catalyst. And at that point, I was 27 years old.
So you're a shy introvert and you get a cold calling job.
Yes.
No one ever hangs up on you. So there's got to
be. Yeah. Let's revisit the no one hung up.
Yeah. So there's got to be Like, were you naturally good at it? Like, what was it? There has to be something there.
You know, you know what? I'm a good rule follower. If you give me a system,
Mm,
set it out for me, I will do it. Now, Rachel, I was so bad in the beginning. My when I after the 5 years when I left, my supervisor said, we used to throw you ropes with lifeguards, life rafts in the beginning, and you couldn't
yeah.
catch them.
Yeah.
I couldn't smell a sail if it was sitting in front of me with wafting with great energy. I couldn't tell. They would say, yes, I want cable, and I would practically unsell it. But I'm serious. But I got better because also in with the rule following comes with sitting with people who are good at doing the thing
Mhm.
and listening to what they say, because I didn't naturally have those gifts, that gift of
Mhm.
gab. Everything I have is because I heard someone else say it and it goes in
You figured
here.
out how to learn from those around you.
Yes, and I have great recall. So in the moment, I might, oh, let me say this. And then after a while, you get good at it, you get more confident, you keep doing it.
So what I'm hearing here is you failed over and over again. But
Mm-hmm.
here's what's interesting to me. The way you're telling the story, like you could tell the story two ways. Because you could tell the story that I got this job, I sucked at it. It was, I couldn't do it well, but eventually I figured it out. Like as in a negative context, you're telling it in a purely like when you're recalling it, you failed over and over again, like to the point where your manager was telling you some things in hindsight, but you're thinking of it as entirely positive. I built my confidence. I was scrappy. I looked at those around me. It didn't bring me down. So like I just want our audience to think about this for a moment. It was all mindset. You were failing over and over again, getting your butt kicked, and you got up and it never occurred to you that you were failing. It just occurred to you that you were learning. It sounds like to me. Is that a right
Ooh,
assumption?
Rachel, that's so good. I have not thought of it quite that way. And that is, yes, that's really accurate. And guess what? As Michelle Obama said, I am still becoming. So
Hmm.
I am still messing it up out here. I
Yeah.
But
am still learning
You
and I'm
know,
still showing up.
Rachel, did you ever have any cold calling jobs?
not a job. I mean, I've had to do cold calling, certainly, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like a full.
I have to say, I think it's a success factor. I think if you have had to sit on the phone and be rejected, 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 rejected,
Mhm.
you know, Casey, you talk about being scrappy. To me, that's the ultimate scrappy. I remember one day I made 77 phone calls and got nothing.
Mhm.
And in a past episode, we talked about, imposter syndrome and charging what you're worth. And I think those cold calling moments, those failure moments are what build resilience,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? And if a shy girl can become an excellent telemarketer, what else is possible?
I was watching I don't remember where I saw this, but it was talking about like to Ivy League students, especially first year, how frustrating, the world of not knowing and knowing. And, Casey didn't know how to sell anything. And that line between not knowing and knowing, which some of us might call learning, but in the moment many don't, is pure frustration, pure confidence crisis, pure all of it. And so if you change the word I'm failing or I don't know to I need to learn, it's a whole mindset shift. But what I think made you successful, Casey, is you never had to change the mindset. It was always just there in you. And that's, I don't know, I think that's a superpower.
Mm.
So, Casey, you had this realization at the young age of 27. And
Yes.
how did you get from there to where you are today? I
A
bet there were a couple more failures along
whole
the way.
lot more failing. Absolutely. Yes. So what I did was I eventually got one job that paid me the money I needed. It was a sales job and it was a face-to-face sales job. I didn't like it because I didn't know, oh, you should be able to relate to your product and like your product. So I left
Believe
there.
in what you're selling. Okay.
I was selling two-way radio equipment to like concrete mixing firms. And yeah, anyway, interesting. So I then landed in a healthcare sales position. And this is what I said. If I can't make this work, I'm going to go and get a job as a secretary because I'm a really good admin.
Mhm.
That's what I said. I was
And
now 28. And they almost fired me because I was slow at learning these concepts. So we were learning state regs, federal regs, all of this contract stuff about insurance so that we could be competent salespeople. And I was slow. And what they said to me was, we're just letting you know we're watching your performance. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get fired. But what we see in you is your commitment, because what we had to do was learn a verbatim, not one word out of place, a 9-page script, which is what we would say when we were doing presentations to enroll employees or employer groups in this insurance plan. What they noticed about me was I was killing it on what? The public speaking. So they said, we're going to put you in territory when you can shadow other reps. Again, the learning. We think you're going to get it. But keep doing that presentation the way you're doing that presentation. So they trusted me. They had faith in me. They saw what I did well. I love amplifying strengths. Let's pick on people for what they can't do. Let's build them up for what they can do. And then, of course, eventually I got a territory and they were right. I killed it.
So how did you so once you started doing that and then you've transitioned now to your own business, like what was that journey like? Because
Yes.
business ownership, sales is part of it. And actually a lot of business owners I know fail because they suck at sales. But
It is
man, are they
true.
hard
I
to
do
do it.
work with people. That's a tough one. If you can't sell and you have your own business, that's a big handicap.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
So you did you go in it with all like I got this, I nailed it, and I'm done, or were you like, oh shit, there's other things I haven't thought about?
Know what I didn't know. So, and winding up the corporate career, I went to 3 other healthcare organizations, got promoted, was in senior leadership, did that for a while, did not love being responsible for 19 people. So I left there, went to another company where I went into leadership development, which was wonderful. Let's go ahead and make people better at what they do. So I did a ton of internal seminars, workshops, all of that kind of stuff. Now, the day did come where I was let go. They were downsizing, and eventually it was my turn to say bye-bye. And it was then that I started the business. And oh my goodness, no, I had no clue. And that was more than half of the problem, because here's the nuance. I didn't realize that I was still a salesperson building a speaking and communication business. So that's what I do right now. I'm really a salesperson and I get to speak occasionally. But if you go in and you don't know that, forget it. So I was a mess. My branding was all over the place. My email address didn't match my URL. I was saying something different every time someone asked me, what do you do?
Yeah, because salespeople are not detail oriented most of the time, and that you need to be detail oriented in some of these ways to start a business. But what I'm hearing in your journey is almost at every major milestone, you had no idea what you were doing, and you did it anyway. And
Yep.
I think that goes back to your ability to be scrappy and learn what you need to know. And I tell my kids that all the time. I'm like, you don't know how to do it, just figure it out. And it's so important. I had a fight with somebody the other day because, how many of you when you're making, the pancake mix where you mix water and pancakes and that's it,
Yes.
done.
Yes.
Do you measure it or do you eyeball it?
I eyeball it.
Donna, what do you do?
I measure.
You are so the detail. So I feel like most entrepreneurs eyeball it. I'm like, I can do this. I'm just gonna wing this shit. And everybody,
Totally.
like my math friends are like, oh no, you have to measure it out. I'm like, but it's the risk reward factor and your willingness to screw up. You're willing to fail. You're willing to maybe this won't work, but I'm gonna try anyway. So Donna, I'm fascinated that you're a measurer.
I am. I mean, with
Yes.
with some things. I mean, there are some things that I make that I don't measure that
Yeah.
but I'm a measurer.
It's crazy.
I follow the instructions. I follow the rules. It's how I roll.
But to be fair, most of the time you make up your own rules. So it's a
Well,
little
I have to, yeah. And I also, I do so much delegating now that I have very little detail that I have to deal with, which is a good thing. So, Casey, I've known you this whole journey that you've been on your own. So I've heard these themes. Your challenges where you were shy, you were empathetic, you were naive. But as you look back, either corporately or entrepreneurially, what do you think the most important lesson you've learned from failing was?
Oh my goodness. You know what it is? People will help you.
Oh,
Don't
good.
need to know everything. Just keep showing up. I mean, Donna, you knew me when I didn't have $10 to put in my gas tank. You knew me when I was crying in a diner and you bought me a grilled cheese. Right?
Yes.
That's an example of someone helping you. And if you just keep going, and sometimes it means you got to tell people you're struggling. You got to be a little vulnerable because otherwise people don't know. And I'm one of these people, I can show up somewhere and by looking at me the way I look, oh, she's great. She's got it all together. And I could be falling apart.
Many of us have felt
Sometimes we have to ask people too, how are they doing? And
I love that.
the relationships so that there is that vulnerability and we can hear, hey, I'm having a hard time right now.
Right? And I've always felt that one of your superpowers was because you are introverted and you are such an empath, you can help people just like you overcome or work around those kind of natural challenges. I'm just kind of a natural loudmouth, it was, I mean, the first time I spoke, it was horrible, but I've done it for so long that I just worked through it. But, for someone who's introverted, that is like soul crushing. So, I applaud your ability to help people like you because that presence and that ability to present is such a big part of success. Yes. How we present ourselves. So, all right. So we're actually beyond our time, but great conversation. So Casey, in case any of our audience would like your help, how would they reach you?
Okay, so I've got a website at speakandownit.com. So please go ahead and look me up. You can email me at casey@speakandownit.com. Notice that they match. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm always networking. You can find me anywhere in the community because guess what? I also learned that meeting people face to face for me is where they feel my energy and they know they want to bring me in. I keep doing this stuff online. It doesn't work for me. I got to get out there.
I agree.
Right? You agree?
I agree. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, we appreciate that you've joined us for this episode. And we want to encourage you to embrace failure and the lessons that it always provides to us. So until next time, take care, everyone.
Take care. Thank you.